Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the podcast. And today I'm going to go over my review of Monday Night Raw. Starting off tonight, we got CM Punk. CM Punk comes out to the ring, grabs a microphone. Punk says that he should be World Heavyweight Champion. Punk says that he now has a Seth Rollins problem. Punk then talks about SummerSlam and what it meant to him, what it meant to the fans. Punk says that he felt like he let the fans down by losing the world title. Punk says that he will get the World Heavyweight title back because of how it felt to have the title back after so long. Punk says that Rollins is trying to be the next Punk. After that, Punk is interrupted by LA Knight. LA Knight comes out to the ring, grabs a microphone, and says that Punk was robbed at SummerSlam, which I do agree. Knight says that Punk deserves a rematch. But Knight tells Punk that he has to get his rematch after his. Punk then says Knight should be thanking him. Knight says that Punk ain't on his level. After that, both Knight and CM Punk are interrupted by Paul Heyman and The Vision. Heyman tells Knight to be on the fence when it comes to trusting CM Punk. Heyman then announces that it will be Punk and LA Knight versus Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker in the main event of Monday Night Raw. Some interesting stuff there between CM Punk and LA Knight. Moving on from that, we go into our first official match of the night. It is Dragon Lee teaming up with AJ Styles to take on Grande Americano and Dominic Mysterio. I thought it was a good match. Back and forth matchup between both teams with Dragon Lee and AJ Styles keeping the pace of the match. AJ hits a Styles Clash on Dominic Mysterio. Grande Americano tries to put the metal plate in his mask, but AJ stops him. Dominic then inserts the plate into his own mask, hits AJ. This allowed Grande Americano to hit a roll-up, pins for the 3, and your winners of the match are Grande Americano and Dominic Mysterio. Hats off to Grande Americano and Dominic Mysterio for getting the win in this matchup. Moving on from that, we have Io Sky taking on Roxanne Perez. I thought this was actually a really good match. Back and forth matchup between Io and Roxanne, with Roxanne keeping the pace of the match. Roxanne then hits springboard moonsault, followed by Roxanne hitting a Hurricane Rana off the top rope on Io Sky. Io gets up, hits a springboard moonsault to the outside, taking out Roxanne and Raquel Rodriguez. The Kabuki Warriors are here. They attack Roxanne, but Roxanne somehow hits a roll-up on Io Sky, pins for the 3, and your winner of the match is Roxanne Perez. Hats off to Roxanne Perez for getting the win in this matchup. Moving on from that, we have a Women's Intercontinental Championship matchup. It is Becky Lynch defending the Women's Intercontinental Championship against Maxine Dupree. I thought it was an okay match at best. Back and forth matchup between Maxine and Becky Lynch, with Becky keeping the pace of the match. Becky tells Maxine that she does not belong in the ring. Becky then hits multiple Bexploders on Maxine. Becky then goes for a manhandle slam on Maxine, but Maxine counters it in with a stunner. But Becky applies her signature disarmor on Maxine Dupree. Referee sounds for the bell, and your winner of the match, and still Women's Intercontinental Champion, is Becky Lynch. Hats off to Becky Lynch for getting the win in this matchup. Moving on from that, we have a Bayley video package. I thought this was actually very interesting. I mean, obviously we all know that Bayley, was one of the top females in WWE. She's been around with WWE quite some time. But there's been a seismic change, I feel like, for Bayley as far as what she's been doing in WWE. Not necessarily saying that's a bad thing, but you can see where the dynamic is going. You look at people like Roxanne Perez, Raquel Rodriguez. You look at Io Sky. You look at Liv Morgan. Bayley, I feel like, is kind of getting left behind. And I always kind of had that feeling about Bayley. Now, Bayley has had some great matches. I mean, you look at the match that she had in NXT with her and Sasha Banks. I mean, it would probably go down as one of the greatest women matches of all time. It literally started the women's revolution in professional wrestling, in my honest opinion. But Bayley, since she got on the main roster, it's kind of been, back and forth for Bayley. Bayley hasn't been one of the top stars, as if you see like a Becky Lynch or when Sasha Banks was in WWE or Charlotte Flair. Bayley's always, I've kind of felt like, played second fiddle to the likes of a Sasha Banks and Charlotte and a Becky Lynch. In my honest opinion, that's not taking anything away from Bayley. I think Bayley's great. Then we get this video package last night, and Bayley was talking about, her persona, the role model, and what she's done throughout her career, and kind of feel like she, at times she's come up short. She's lost opportunities for the, the Women's World Championship, and countless times she's lost, matches that really could have, solidified her within her career. I mean, Now it seems as if Bayley might be turning heel. Just from the video package that we got last night, it might be a completely repackaged Bayley that we'll get here in the foreseeable future. I mean, we watched the video package, and then towards the end of the video package, there's kind of this sinister, evil kind of laugh at the end of this video package. So, to me, I think this would be great. I think if Bayley were to turn heel, you keep her all, and you maybe move her to Friday Night SmackDown and be a top heel for that brand. I think it'd be great for Bayley. I think Bayley, this is something that Bayley desperately needs, I think, for her to turn heel. I think babyface Bayley is just not working out. It's just not. And Bayley has been a babyface for quite some time. I think this is something where I think maybe she's at a crossroads in her career at this point. I mean, she's been around the block with WWE for quite some time. Maybe this is something that, with Bayley turning heel, maybe she's thinking this could revamp her career, get more eyeballs on Bayley, give her more opportunities possibly for, title runs or world championships. I mean, Bayley definitely needs to hit the reset button, and I think with Bayley possibly turning heel, and like I said, with that evil, sinister laugh in that video package at the end, we might get an evil, maybe sinister Bayley, maybe turning heel, and I'm all for it. I'm absolutely all for it. I think this is going to really benefit Bayley a lot. I mean, if you look at Naomi, Naomi was always a babyface, and then finally she ended up turning heel, and it really benefited Naomi quite a bit, to a point where she actually became women's world heavyweight champion. Speaking of Naomi, now a lot of people were up in arms and speculating what's going on with Naomi. Now, in the beginning of the show, before the show even really got started, Michael Cole was, obviously in commentary and stated right off rip that Naomi is going to be out with injury. She wasn't defending her title on Monday Night Raw against Io Sky. She was dealing with some kind of injury that's still undisclosed at this point. A lot of people were speculating when it could be. So Naomi was not a part of Monday Night Raw, and was not able to defend her, her world championship. I don't know what's going on with Naomi. A lot of people are speculating that she could be seriously injured. Some people are even speculating that she could be out for months, for a long extended period of time. I don't know what's going on with Naomi at the current moment. I don't know what's going on with her. All I know is from multiple people that she's supposedly injured or taking some time off, and it could be for the foreseeable future until we figure out what's going on with Naomi. So it's still up in the air with that. Like I said, she was scheduled to have a title defense against Io Sky. That did not happen. Io instead ended up having a match against Roxanne Perez, which I thought was probably match of the night, in my honest opinion. And it was a solid match. Seth Rollins, the other thing I want to talk about too. Seth Rollins has a huge target on his back now. Now we have LA Knight. Now we have CM Punk. And now we have Jey Uso. Now a lot of people, and myself included, I had to be in that same boat, that were kind of like, wow, Jey Uso's going to get another World Heavyweight Championship opportunity. I'm going to be honest. Jey, I gave all the praise in the world to Jey Uso. And I told you guys, I was happy for Jey when he won the Royal Rumble. Jey has, busted his ass to get the opportunities that he's gotten, whether it was the Intercontinental Championship, winning the Royal Rumble, becoming World Heavyweight Champion. I mean, he has, set his own path and busted his ass to get those opportunities. As of late, I can't really say what has Jey Uso really done up to this point to really grant him an opportunity at the World Heavyweight title. Now, I understand, if you're looking at the narrative, Jey Uso obviously has some heat with the Vision, Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed specifically. He was just in a high-profile tag team matchup at this year's SummerSlam, where Jey teamed up with Roman Reigns to take on Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. And unfortunately, they weren't successful. Bronson Reed, I believe, and Braun Breaker won that match. So obviously, there was some hostility there between Jey Uso and the Vision. Him getting a world championship opportunity, to me, it feels like it's rushed. It feels like I don't really think he's done a whole lot to really grant himself a World Heavyweight Championship opportunity against Seth Rollins, even though this match is going to be a fatal four-way with Jey Uso, CM Punk, LA Knight to take on Seth Rollins. I just feel like Jey Uso really hasn't done anything individually to actually grant himself a World Heavyweight opportunity. LA Knight, sure. CM Punk, absolutely. Jey Uso is that wild card in all this. Honestly, I thought, with Jey, there was going to be some more conflict with the Vision, Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker, and Roman Reigns. Now, we don't know when we're going to see Roman. I think Roman is scheduled to be at Clash of Paris. Clash of Paris, for what it looks like, is going to be an incredible card, to be honest. But we don't know what's going on with Roman. So when this announcement happened last night in the main event, after the main event was done and the match ended disqualification, we saw Adam Pearce come out and make this monumental announcement that at Clash in Paris, it will be a fatal four-way for the World Heavyweight Championship, where Seth Rollins will defend the World Heavyweight title against LA Knight, CM Punk, and Jey Uso. Great announcement. And it's going to be a great match. Like I said, the wild card in all this is Jey Uso. What has Jey Uso done as of late individually to really grant him a World Heavyweight title opportunity? So to me, I kind of felt like it was rushed. And for what it's worth, I mean, I'll be the first one to say that after Jey had lost the World Heavyweight title, I thought Jey was going to take some time off, to be honest with you. With that being said, I mean, do I still respect the hell out of Jey Uso? Yes, I do. I think Jey is severely underrated, even now. I think a lot of people overlook Jey Uso, and I think Jey Uso is, he's a great superstar. He brings the fans in. The fans are gravitated towards Jey. I just think for as far as him getting a World Heavyweight opportunity for the title, I just feel like it's forced and it's rushed, to be honest. And, a lot of people even said, too, when it pertains to Monday Night Raw, like, we get the same week in and week out shows where, and I told you guys, and I will talk about this in another episode, but, WWE now has this more fascination and fixation with the business side of things of WWE. And they are making significant moves from the business aspect of what they're trying to do here. I mean, you look at, the streaming services that they're going on having to deal with, and they have the ESPN deal, and now they're looking at having ESPN a part of their PLEs and yada yada yada. So I mean, obviously, there's a seismic shift as well on the business front of WWE. They're making moves a lot. You know what I mean? TKO in its entirety, whether it's if you look at WWE and even UFC, they're making significant moves that is changing the game right now as far as what they're doing for the foreseeable future. 2026 is going to be incredible and crazy at the same time for both WWE and the UFC. It's going to be crazy. But, I feel like WWE as an entire whole is really fixated and focused on the business aspect of WWE rather than what's going on inside the squared circle. And a lot of people have been saying that. Stories have been lacking. There's not enough story going into these matches. And a lot of people are saying we're getting a lot of the same matches over and over again, and Raw is kind of, if not feeling the same as again, there's like the excitement is starting to dwindle a little bit. So, we're going to see what happens. I mean, for what it's worth, I think Clash in Paris is going to be incredible. The way that the card's starting to stack up, we got that announcement from Adam Pearce with the Fatal 4-Way for the World Heavyweight title. I think Clash in Paris is going to be incredible. I think it's going to be a really stacked card from top to bottom, and I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a really, really good card. And like I said with Naomi, we don't know what's going on with Naomi. All we do know is that she's, I guess, taking some time off. She's dealing with some kind of injury from what I was told. I don't know what that injury is. It wasn't really disclosed to anybody really from WWE side of things so far from what I understand. So we're going to see what happens. Like I said, Naomi was actually scheduled to defend her title against Io Sky. That did not happen. Io ended up having a match against Roxanne Perez. So we're going to see what happens. And hopefully we'll see Naomi soon and figure out what's going on with Naomi. And, right now we're on the road in the build towards Clash in Paris. So we're going to see how this plays out from both Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown. But with that being said, this is my review of Monday Night Raw. I hope you guys are out there staying safe. Be careful. And remember, stay classic. Peace.